I remember when I first started going to thrift stores and I was trying to find items to sell on eBay. At that time, I wasn't selling on Amazon. I was so nervous about looking up items on eBay and eventually scanning books to sell. I was so nervous that the employees were, I don't know, like I was gonna get kicked out or they were gonna yell at me, or customers were gonna ask me, what are you doing? Why are you looking up items? Why are you going through all the tags? And why do you have 50 pieces of clothing? Or why are you scanning all of those books? And in today's video, I want to talk about, do thrift store employees, managers, owners, whatever, do they care that we are reselling? And I want you guys and gals to contribute down in the comments and also answer this question. Share your experience as a reseller. Have the workers there gotten mad? Have they gotten upset? And also in this video, I'm gonna be sharing 4 ways to make enemies at the thrift store. If you really wanna piss off the workers, if you wanna make them upset, do these 4 things. Now, I don't want you to actually do these 4 things. I want you to avoid doing them, but this is why a lot of workers, and when I say a lot, I mean, I've talked to a bunch of them, maybe it's 50-50, say they dislike resellers, and it's for these 4 reasons that I'm actually gonna go into. But at the end of the video, I'm gonna give some tips for how to build relationships with the workers and how to be able to get inventory that your competition can't get so you can make more money. So with that being said, if this sounds good, smash that like button and let's get into it. All right, so do the workers dislike resellers? Do the employees hate resellers? Do you have to worry about this when you're new, when you're scanning books, when you're looking up items, when the woman or the man at the register says, what are you doing with all these clothing items? What are you doing with all these books? And you know, there was a funny story once. There was this reseller that I knew, and he was a bookseller, and one time, he was new at the time, he had brought all these books up that he scanned, and the worker there at Goodwill asked him, what are you doing with all these books? And he goes, he must have really thought of this on the fly. He goes, I'm building a bookshelf and I wanted a bunch of books. And my mom and I just started laughing because he got nervous. And you know, for me personally, if they ask me, I just tell them. And again, I'll circle back to this in the end when we talk about building relationships. But first, let's talk about the top 4 ways to make enemies with the workers at the thrift stores and how to avoid this. You don't want to be doing these things, okay? The first thing is removing tags. A lot of resellers I know, when they're new, they remove tags, they try to switch out tags, they do a lot of sketchy things. It's pretty much stealing. Do not do this, they know. There was another time I was at Savers, and I think I was with Vinny, and there was this Jamaican guy, and he came up and he must have had, I don't know, 30 or 40 pieces of clothing. Every single one was missing the tag. It's like, come on. I mean, at least if you're gonna steal, just do one. I'm not saying you should. This guy ripped off the tag of every single one, and it's like, bozo, everybody knows what you did. Don't do that. The workers will not forget you. Don't steal, don't switch out tags. Like, step up your game, get more knowledge so you can find these items. I know thrift store prices are high, and sometimes I wanna smack them around for what they're doing, but you can't go doing that. So please don't switch out the tags. Number 2, I have a friend of mine who I'm not gonna name, good friend of mine, but he's always negotiating and criticizing them about price and whatnot. And you know, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm perfect. There's times that I've been a smart, you know what, and I've made comments, right? If you know me, you know I'm known to make some comments sometimes. And this really gets under the thrift store worker's skin. I mean, especially if you're trying to go there on a regular basis and you want to build relationships, which again, I'm going to talk about, so stick around. Don't be constantly nagging them. Now, there's a difference between nagging and annoying and being passively aggressive versus actually having a relationship and being able to negotiate and, you know, figure out how you can actually make it a win-win. But don't be that type of person. I know them, I know a bunch of them, I've done it, it never works out. So don't be that type of person. Number 3, making a huge mess. This is probably the number 1 reason why I would say 50% of the workers dislike resellers, is because a lot of them make a mess. I mean, over at my local Goodwill and Savers in my town, I mean, it's like, I always know when the local resellers are there because it's like a tornado has run through it. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, the toy section's a little different because there's kids and whatnot, and usually it's, you know, the customers making a mess. But in the book section, 90% of the time, it's the resellers, and they're just throwing things all around. That's an easy way to piss off the workers there. So I would avoid that. And again, this is all gonna be important because all this is gonna come together to teach you how to make more money and source more items, which is the key to this business. But the last thing is fighting with other competitors. You know, I've seen a couple resellers as well who are just known to be in your way. They're pushing and shoving, and when a new rack comes out, or one of the carts at Goodwill, they're getting in there and they're just starting fights, or they're getting in the way of the worker when they're trying to put stuff away. Don't be like that. There's actually a guy, I don't really know him, and hopefully he's not watching this video, but I find him to be so annoying. This guy, I've talked about him before. I haven't seen him in a while, but he'll literally, when a new cart of books come out, and I'd love to know what you guys would do. I've talked about this in the past, and he pisses off my mom too. He brings a stool. I don't know if he's got it in the back room, or I don't know what's going on, but just imagine, a Goodwill cart is coming out with a bunch of books, and the cart is all right here. He puts a stool down right in the middle and blocks everybody off, and if you go to take books, he's almost like you're in my territory. It's like, buddy, if you're gonna get backroom access, get into the back room. You're not gonna come out to the floor and try to push us all around. And it's tough because sometimes it's hard for me to be able to bite my tongue in situations like that. So far I've been successful, but I'm curious, what would you do? But that's an easy way to upset customers, start fights, start problems with the workers. So you definitely don't want to do that. So I would say in general, the people at the thrift stores, they don't care. They really don't. Like in general, as long as you're not removing tags, constantly nagging them, being passive aggressive, making comments, making a huge mess, fighting with customers, or always getting in their way, as long as you're not doing those things, they don't have any problem if you're a reseller. They don't care if you're scanning, they don't care if you're reselling stuff and making a profit. Most of these people, honestly, the managers are happy because you're buying stuff, and the workers there, they just don't care. They just want to go home. But to circle back to what I was talking about, you don't want to do these things because you do want to be the type of person who's able to build relationships. Now, there's a couple reasons why you'd want to build relationships. The obvious one is, when you see these people, they can give you a heads up. Hey, we got a bunch of books in the back, or hey, there's a bunch of clothes. Or if they see you, they know you're a clothing seller, they know you're a book seller, they know you love, I don't know, these certain collectibles. They'll bring them out for you. My mom and I, we have tons of workers. When we say tons, like maybe one or two at each thrift store that we visit regularly, that, I'll give a shout out to Ben over at our local Savers. My mom sometimes brings them cookies, and she does all types of sweet things. She'll bring in donuts every now and then. I haven't gone that far recently, but we'll do nice things and build relationships. And honestly, they'll help you. They'll literally make you more money. Also, I would say, you want to be in an environment that you're working in that's positive. You don't want to always be in a place where you feel like people are like, oh, there's that jerk off. Like, oh, here's John again, who's going to make a mess. And like, you're just making people's lives miserable. A lot of these people are getting underpaid. They're working their butt off. They're struggling today's day of age to just pay rent, making 14, 15, 16 bucks an hour. So why are you going to go there and just make their lives even more miserable, right? It's not like they deserve it, right? So hopefully this video helps. Again, don't let this, this was a long video, but I had fun making it. Don't let this hold you back worrying about, oh, people are gonna know you're reselling, people are gonna know you're scanning. They honestly don't care. Just don't do the 4 things I mentioned. Build a relationship, be a good human being, and this should be able to help you grow your business. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Please drop your comments below. I'd love to know your input and what your thoughts were. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.